and start with JP Morgan Chase, which is the largest US bank by market capitalization, assets, and a couple of other metrics, I'm sure. Founded by the great JP Morgan himself in the late 1890s in New York City. It's been the result of a multiple merger. You'll see the name also includes the word Chase, so that's because they merged with Chase Manhattan Bank in about 2000. Jamie Dimon, one of the best looking CEOs in the business, I would say, don't you think?
Well, I don't really
He's
look
got
at
a full head of hair, unlike us, eh?
Well, maybe he's had a transplant or something.
Market capitalization, 310 billion US dollars. Price to earnings ratio has gone from about 11 to its current 14 in recent times, which is where you get the share price increase. Dividend yield going in the other direction, I suppose, currently, but not a bad payer at 2.2%. So, I mean, this is the sort of alpha bank,
Absolutely.
I guess you could say, big in institutional trading, but also a premier sort of commercial and retail customer base.
Yeah,
as
so
well.
bellwether bank, so it'll have all the issues that we mentioned, sort of multiple business lines, US-centric, but with a global presence. So they've got consumer, they've got commercial, they've got trading, they've got FIC, they've got wealth management. They cover
FIC, what's FIC? Fixed
income, and currency trading, so, and credit. So that's and they're all different parts of the business. M&A, earnings, so they're really broad-based. So it's important to see how they're exposed to markets and, I guess, the economy.
And they're a big global player too. I mean, they're big even here, and this is a tiny market for them, big in Asia, big in Europe. Let's look at the share chart, because the interesting thing about this one is it didn't do so badly in the 2008 crunch as the others. So I'm happy to tell you that that is in fact trading at its all-time high. So not even back in 2007 were they at an almighty level. So really this has been a very good investment to hold. I mean, you can see it even on the 5-year chart.
Absolutely, record highs.
Brilliant.
And very well run, I think, by Jamie Dimon. They've had a lot of issues in terms of settlements with fines, but I think they've seen their way through that. Their Q4 results, which they announced on Friday.
Just on the fines, to give people a sense, I'm not sure what the number is for JP Morgan, but I would guess, looking at the info for Bank of America, which is quite similar, they probably paid in aggregate about $50 billion worth of fines. I don't know whether JP Morgan is probably slightly less. And remember, JP Morgan did a few emergency buyouts of bits and pieces of businesses during that collapse, Washington Mutual and all of that stuff. So, I mean, they also were very unhappy with some of the steps. Bear Stearns is the one that they were kind of
that's right,
bought at the behest of US Treasury.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess you were buying lots of assets and liabilities and contingent liabilities in the forms of those fines for mis-selling of mortgage-backed securities. Then more recently, there's been allegations of currency market rigging and interest rate market rigging. So it's been ongoing, but I think we're seeing the tail end of that.
Okay, the real issue here with this one then is just about whether you still can afford to buy them. I mean, a 14 price-to-earnings ratio isn't particularly high. More good times to come? Do you reckon that at this level it's attractive?
So it's clearly pricing in, I think, the potential benefits of a Trump administration and what that means for the US economy. If you look at the numbers versus the return on equity, it's trading at about 1.4 times book, which is another way of looking at bank valuations. But return on equity slightly below the target sort of cost to equity. So people are feeling it's quite expensive, but the numbers are being quite bullish. The outlook's quite bullish. So I think if you're bullish on the US economy and more globally, it's one to buy.
Hot for you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go hot too.